Hello, World Tank Blitzers. It's a Littlefinger. Hey, it's Saturday, January 18th, 2025. And yes, this is the first store review of the year. Normally don't do these on Saturdays, but hey, work's been really busy. Store's been pretty anemic. Old tanks that I've talked about so many times over and over again. Really just didn't think it was worth the effort. As you can see here with the Gravedigger, it's in the store. So for those of you that don't have it, there's an opportunity to jump on it. So let's try to make this store make sense. There's so much going on. And I've noticed over the past 6+ months or so, we've got additional currencies, but besides just cash and gold, now we've got these blast tokens where you can buy a tank certificate for 30, a tier 8 for 70, you can get the Titan Strife for 200, and that would be a lot of those blast coins because basically you're going to get them here in these bundles at 10 a pop for $12. And I do not recommend this because if you look at the gold you're getting out of it, it is just at 300 gold per dollar. I like to stay right around 600 or above if at all possible. So try to stick with gold or cash if it's a good deal. But this is just another way, just keep you confused and not know exactly how much money you're really dropping on the game. You can also buy the tokens there, $6 here for 10. If you've got a couple of them, you can do the draw here if you don't have enough for one of the certificates. But again, I would try to stay away from that if at all possible. One of the other things that I have been taking advantage of a little bit recently is these link bundles. And if you notice that the first one is completely free, you don't have to pay until you get to this one here. And the way I look at this is you get the 30 certificates there. If you win 50% of your battle at tier 10, that means you're going to get 15 per, that's 30. So that's 450. Add in the 250 for that you get there at the end. And that works out to be about 583 gold per dollar. Once you start getting up, then these numbers just don't make sense for the amount of gold that you're getting for what you're paying. So just look for good deals here and try to get your gold around 600, 650 or more. We'll talk about the tanks when we get down to that section. Lucky containers are back. These are guaranteed a tank in here. As I scroll through this list of tier 8s here, you can see I have every one of these. And so it's important to note that if you do draw a tank that you already have, you will receive the next tier higher container. And for me, with most of the tanks, then what that usually ends up being getting a tier 9 and then getting a tier 10, pulling a tank I already have, and then getting 7,500 gold, which if we're talking gold per dollar, that's 750 gold per dollar. So it's actually not a bad deal a way to get gold. But this box here is heavily discounted compared to some of the other ones. We see here the Lucky 6 is $12, $13. The 5 is $10. 4 of them there for 53. So the price does kind of jump around a good bit, but for $10, that Lucky 8's not a bad deal. And if you've got a lot of the tanks like I do and kind of want to use this potentially knowing that you're going to get gold at the end of it, take that 6 and work, or the tier 5 and work your way all the way up. I am not going to talk about this currency, which is the event going on. We do have last season's tanks here back up for sale, 78,000 gold. That's a lot. And then season 1 tanks here as well. Just keep in mind, these prices are pretty comparable to what you would normally spend for a tier 8, 7,500. The glacial there at 10,000. My understanding, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, if you remember for the event, you could get the tank, but you'd also have to work all the way up to get the equipment unlocked as well. So my understanding is this tank is going to come with just the basic equipment on it. So be aware if you're buying, say, the Glacier, you didn't quite make it to tier 9 or something like that. Just be aware that you may have to spend more on these Fordham shards in order to upgrade your equipment if you want to do that. All right, so let's keep scrolling on down here and let's talk tanks. All right, so we've got the XM66F here. This is a fun little tank destroyer, if I say so myself, but for 25,000 gold, no thank you, it's way too much. What I do like about it, your damage per minute, I believe, is about 3,500. Yeah, 3,500. So if you get this tank into a really nice spot, it just really pumps out the damage quite quickly. It's got 40 kilometers per hour top speed. Yeah, 20 in reverse. So mobility is not horrible, but you know, from the armor from the front is decent. But again, this one can be team dependent sometimes. So I'm definitely staying away from this for that price of 22.5 or 25 here. It's just too much right now. And here's a nice good deal. 8,000 gold, so that's 4,000 each for 2 tier 7s. You may already have one or both of these tanks, but just want to point out the Tankenstein comes with 2 different guns. If you have it, there's one that's higher damage per minute, lower alpha, and then you've got the higher derp gun. Both are fun. I'd seem to do better with the lower alpha gun, but the Gravedigger is a huge tank. Weak spots underneath the lower plate here and the cheeks right in the front point. So if you're in it, you know, face away from your opponent so they don't have a straight on shot to those cheeks, because those can be weak points. This is a 6 shell autoloader with 0.67 seconds between shots and only 10-11 seconds there for the whole magazine reload. So fun tank to play. Might even put this one in a must-own category as the Gravedigger here. I mean, it's power crept a little bit, but it's still a fun tank to play. We've got the Iron Companions, which ironically enough, I do not own the Churchill, so I cannot speak to any of the characteristics. I haven't played it. Not sure if we look here at the top speed. Yeah, 22 kilometers per hour. It's going to be painful. It's going to be absolutely painful. It's got to be one of the slowest tanks out there at this tier 6. Whew, that's 1,700 damage per minute. It's just nothing sounds good about the tank, but yet I'm going to have to buy it because, as you know, I'm a collector. The E25 is almost in that must-own category. Super good concealment rating on it, and it's just super fast, and it flies around the battlefield. 2,900 damage per minute, 160 average damage, and yeah, 65 kilometers per hour on that top speed. It's real small, low profile. You can have some fun games in it. It's kind of a meme tank, to be honest with you. So 7,000 for both of those, not a horrible deal. I will be ending up purchasing the Churchill there, just so I can add it to the garage. And then we've got the Steel Monsters, which if we look at that cash price of $24 and we apply 600 gold per dollar, that's 14,400 gold. You're going to get a little bit of that back with those 30 boosters, and you're going to get 2 tier 8 heavy tanks for about 7,500. So the deal is right around average. It's not a great deal. It's not a horrible deal. But what are you getting? So you're getting a French heavy tank with a 3-shot auto loader here. Armor's not horrible on it. It's not super great either. Kyler's got better armor, to be honest with you. And I think this is going to have some decent mobility, 40 kilometers per hour. Whereas the Kyler here on the speed on it is also 40. What I found, you don't want to over angle this, because any shot that comes in at an angle on this drive wheel does seem to pen. Want to keep that more forward than kind of angled to the side. I've yet to ace this one. It's kind of like one of those nemesis tanks for me. The slower heavy tanks, I just don't seem to do as well in. Not my favorite play style. But again, average deal here. 7,500, not bad. $42 for the WZ111. No thanks. That sounds like way too much. Let's just do the math on that. 600. 25,000 for a tier 10. Yeah, I probably would like to see that around 20,000 at most. But anyway, it's a capable heavy tank. You know, but again, it's like, how many of these style tanks have you played there at tier 8 with the All the ISs, all the Chinese tanks, they all have this spaced armor and a very similar play style, so it gets kind of boring to me. The Iron Union bundle here has got the Turtle and the FCM. Start with the FCM. 50-ton medium tank. How about that? Certainly fun when you're playing gravity. Can do some good ram damage with it. You've got 8 degrees of gun depression, 51 kilometers per hour, so it does get around quite well. Armor's not great. It is just a medium tank after all, but 2,600 damage per minute is quite nice for that tier 8. And then the Turtle here, which is going to be a little bit better than some of your British AT tanks, but not a whole lot. 2,800 damage per minute there, 10 degrees of gun depression, and a whole 20 kilometers per hour is your top speed. So yeah, this one is, again, very team dependent. You can't use your maneuverability in any way, but it's not a bad tank. And for 2 of those at 6,000 each, price is not horrible either. So I think if it's be for someone more on the collector side than someone that's wanting a tank to do really well in. So that pretty much is it for the store review. Sorry I haven't done these in quite some time, but I'll try to do better this year, and hopefully you guys can help me out with some new likes, some new subscriptions, and some good comments in the comment section down below. So with that, guys, have fun out there, stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.